Hello, this is Joel Harband. Today I'm going to show you how to create narrated 3D animations with PowerPoint motion paths and speech over quickly and easily. Sometimes you need a simple and a basic animation to illustrate a concept or idea, show a process, explain a system. Animation that doesn't require the features of advanced animation software. I'd be happy to hear that Tuval engineers have been able to create captivating and effective narrated animations quickly and easily with PowerPoint and speech over only, using the same basic method that is used in advanced 3D animation software like Autodesk. Once more, the narration is automatically synced with the graphics. Here is an example. This is a simple example that shows the fundamentals of making animations and gives you the tools to make your own narrated videos with PowerPoint and speech over. The example is learning about flowers. Our main character in the video, in the animation, is the bee. The bee will fly from flower to flower, eat from each flower, and speak about it. The bee's speech is added and synced with speech over. Let's see a preview of the final result.
I am Bonnie the bee. A daffodil is yellow. I like water lilies and love hibiscus.
You can create the kind of narrated animation you just viewed quickly and easily with PowerPoint and speech over only, using the same basic method that is used in the advanced 3D animation software like Autodesk, as we said before. The method is simple. First, create the storyboard for the animation with the keyframes and narration text. Second, add a sequence of graphics on a slide that serve as keyframes. 3, add sync narration to the keyframes with speech over. And 4, add the PowerPoint motion paths and emphasis effects between the keyframes to create a continuous motion. Let's start the process for our bee animation. First, here's the storyboard for the animation with the keyframes and the narration text. We have 4 events for the story: introduction, bee visits daffodil, bee visits water lily, bee visits hibiscus. So here we have the keyframes, the graphics, and the narration text at the lower line. Now we'll add the sequence of bee graphics on the slide, each bee with a location and orientation that represent a key event. First, we have a bee graphic on the first flower positioned to be eating from the flower. Next, another bee graphic on the second flower, also eating from the flower. And third, another bee graphic here. You can see that the bees, each successive bee is rotated 90 degrees. This is 90 degrees counterclockwise, clockwise, counterclockwise. The next step is to rename the shape names of the keyframes in the selection pane to the names on the storyboard, B1, B2, etc. This renaming helps manage the effects on the animation pane. We do select and selection frame. And here, if we select our keyframes, we see that the names are picture 1. These are the names of the shapes in PowerPoint. Picture 2, picture 3, picture 4. So now what we want to do is go in and click on the name. We go B1, B2, etc. B3 and B4. Okay, now all of our keyframes have been renamed to story names. We'll see how useful this is when we start working with the animation pane. The next step is to add narration text to each keyframe with speech over in the order. Here's the speech over ribbon on the PowerPoint screen. Let's first look at the preferences and the animation preferences. Down here in the default entrance exit, the setting has to be entrance and exit so that the speech over will add the proper effects. Add the narration to the first B graphic, select it, new shape clip. The add narration clip to shape dialog opens. Selection is the B1 shape where the name is already being used by speech over. Sharon is the voice. In the text area, we put in the text to be read by the voice and click OK. And immediately we see the effects that are produced by speech over on the animation pane. We'll talk about them in a minute. First we go and add our narration to the second B graphic. Again, new narration clip. B2 is a selection. Enter the text, daffodils are yellow. Click OK. And here's the next set of effects that are produced by speech over. And then we proceed in order to add narration to the third and to the fourth graphic. Let's look more closely at the effects we've created by speech over on the animation pane. Effects are divided into groups identified by the shape names B1, B2, the B1 effects, B2 effects. Each group consists of an appear effect, followed by an audio effect, subtitle effect, and a disappear effect. And the groups follow each other on the timeline in their order. This one follows this one, etc. Now, after adding narration to all of the four B's, we essentially have an animated storyboard. Let's see what it looks like.
I am Bonnie the bee. A daffodil is yellow. I like water lilies and love hibiscus.
This is a good way to check out the storyboard because you see the order and the motion, and the only thing that's missing is the in-between continuous motion. Now that the keyframes and narration are in place, we can create the continuous motion by adding motion paths and emphasis effects between the keyframes. The animation experts call this tweening. We have three types: motion paths to simulate the bee's flight, spin emphasis effects to rotate the bee's body during the motion, teeter emphasis effects to simulate the eating. These are added in the following order of tweening effects. For each bee, we have the effects for that bee. First bee speaks and flies, so we have audio, and the flying is two effects together, the turn effect, the turn motion effect, and the spin. Then B2 has actually three effects: the eating, which is teeter, the speaking audio, the flying, turn, spin, and so on for the other bees. Before continuing, we have to learn a few PowerPoint tricks. Centering two objects in PowerPoint. To combine the motion paths, we have to know how to center two objects, that the centers of each object should coincide. See some examples of this soon. Select both objects, and then you do home, arrange, align, align center, home, arrange, align, align middle. First example of this will be creating a crosshairs guideline, which we will need later. First step is to insert a vertical or horizontal line, duplicate the line, rotate the copy, center both lines as per the previous slide, then group the lines to form a crosshair. Let's see how it works. Constructing the crosshairs, you put in a line where the line should be bigger than the graphic that you're using. So what you do is you select both lines using the Shift key. Then we do Home, Arrange, Align, Center. Home, Arrange, Align, Middle. And there you have your perfectly centered crosshairs. The next example is we want to center crosshairs on the graphic. So again, we select two of them, crosshairs, which is grouped, Shift key, and select the graphic. Now again, we do Arrange, Align, Center, Arrange, Align, Middle. Now we have the graphic exactly in the center of the crosshairs. This. Now we're in a position to add a motion path between the keyframes. First step is to center crosshairs on each keyframe graphic. Next step, add a turn down motion path to the first keyframe. Starting green arrow of the motion path is exactly on the crosshairs. That's where PowerPoint puts it, at the exact center of the graphic. Now you drag the red ending arrow of the turn effect to the crosshairs on the second keyframe, the second B, which is the exact center. The B turn effect appears on the animation pane. Change timing to after previous. Drag it to before the B1 disappear effect, which is after the audio and subtitle effect, because the motion path, the motion occurs after the audio. Here's a picture of what the screen will look like after you've added the turn motion path and brought the red arrow into the center of the second graphic. So here you have the turn effect connecting the center of the first graphic with the center of the second graphic. And here you have on the animation pane the turn down effect appearing, and it starts after the audio effect. Here, this line is the end of the audio effect, and then starts the motion effect. Let's see what the motion effect looks like when we animate it.
I am Bonnie the bee.
See, it follows the curve right down to the second B. The next step is to add the spin emphasis effect. As we saw, the B keyframes were placed at plus minus 90 degrees from each other. So the spin effects will rotate the B 90 degrees plus minus during the turn motion in order to align the B with the B keyframes. The spin effect takes place together with the arc motion, with the turn motion effect. So we set it to with previous and drag it from the end till after the B1 turn motion effect, as this. Now let's see what the animation looks like after we've added the spin effect.
I am Bonnie the bee.
See, the body actually turns as it moves, and now it's exactly coinciding with the second B graphic. Next step is to add the teeter emphasis effect. That's beginning with B number 2, since that's the first one that's eating. So we add it teeter, and then we change it to with previous, and drag it to before the audio effect for B2. Because the eating occurs before the speaking. Then go on and add turn, spin, and teeter effect to all the keyframes in the same way. Now let's see what it all looks like together. Final version.
I am Bonnie the bee. A daffodil is yellow. I like water lilies and love hibiscus.
Now let's summarize our 3D animation with PowerPoint. The method is to use connected motion paths generated from a sequence of keyframe graphics to create a narrated 3D animation. What are the advantages? Control the exact location orientation of the keyframe graphics on the background. Use the username shapes. Make it easy to create and manage the animation on the animation pane. Easy to introduce sync voice narration using speech over, and easy to add and connect motion paths, body emphasis effects to achieve a continuous motion. This method is general, can be applied to many different types of animations. Thank you for viewing. For more information, please visit our site, speechover.com.